Good morning, good afternoon, good day. I'd like to thank you for taking the time to watch this little YouTube video from myself, Germana Ravanelli, and my business name is Heart Consulting. I live in Nanaimo, BC. And I've had the privilege and the honor of being in the fitness industry for 31 years as a paid professional. I've seen many things happen in people's lives, some lovely, some tragic. Clearly life has many experiences for all of us, and it's not always what happens to us that counts. It's how we deal with it and how we come back from it, or how we let one or two of life situations really damage the rest of our lives. I haven't done any videos for quite a while, simply because I was struggling with some of my own health issues and I didn't feel like I had much to offer. So what I did was to just slow down and take care of myself, and at some point go to a naturopath to say something is wrong with my health. Something's really wrong, and I was lucky enough to have some testing done that showed that I was suffering from hypothyroid, and my body wasn't making enough DHEA, which is a precursor for all the other steroids that your body makes that allows your system to work and repair, and that I was clearly entering a menopausal phase. And the beauty of that request for help was that I got my needs met, and now I feel capable of doing what I do and what I love to do, which is to give back to people and inspire them, people like yourself, to, regardless of what you have going on in your life, how you can turn that around and give yourself quality of life. We can't control some things, but we can control our attitude and how we deal with what life presents to us. So the topic that I wanted to share on today was tips to rebuild your health and your fitness. And what I see is that we all struggle, we all have issues, we all have a story, and sometimes people sort of give up, and sometimes people say, that's it, I'm going to do what I can to give myself a better life. And that's what I'm about, is helping people create a better life, regardless whether they have a handicap or not. The first step to me to offer to you is to decide, that you're ready and you're willing to begin to rebuild your house, your body, which for me, there's three aspects. There's your body, there's your mind, and then there's your spirit. And so if it's a physical thing that you want to deal with, and you want to find someone who's capable and competent to help you train your body so that it's stronger, more functional, to correct any weaknesses or imbalances in the body so that you can move properly and dance or run or play, whatever it is. Some people, they just want to learn how to sit or stand or move properly, and some people want to run a race, and some people want to do a figure or a fitness or a bodybuilding show, and those are all things that people can shoot for. Some people just want to do chin-ups. Some people want to lose 20 pounds. But if you look at your body and realize it is the house for your spirit, do you want to look after it, or do you want to put that off? And my encouragement to you is to look after it. A lot of people look after their car better than they look after their body. And you can't ever buy another body once it starts to degenerate. And aging causes degeneration, and yet our lifestyle allows us to defeat age and to become young and vital, regardless of what year we were born. So I do encourage you, when it comes to things like your body, to move it, to do strength training no less than 3 times a week, to get outside as much as possible, to laugh as much as possible, to make sure that you say nice things to your body. What we say inside of our own head, the elevator music in our head, actually becomes our life theme. Your subconscious and your body are the same. So if you say nice things to your body, you thank your feet, you thank your hands, you thank your heart, you thank your lungs, you're actually going to improve your health, you're going to improve your mental state, and you're actually living with someone that's kind to yourself. most people don't realize that if they say, I don't want fat thighs, or I don't want this, or I don't want that, the subconscious actually doesn't hear the word don't. And you end up with fat thighs, you end up with all of those things that you say you don't want. It's much easier for your body to produce what you say you do want. And most people have no idea how simple that is. It's quite simple. I was working with a young lady the other day, and I said, instead of being worried about whether you're going to break your ankle on this tough mutter run, I said, in the morning, close your eyes and imagine yourself having a wonderful day with everything going well. She looked at me and she said, is it that simple? I said, yes, because you're programming yourself then to have a better day versus a day where you're in fear. And when we're in fear, we're actually burning up our resources. We're burning up our joy. So I would encourage you to take a moment daily, if you can, preferably in the morning, just to gently give thanks to your body, just to close your eyes and imagine that you're having a good day, that yes, you are doing your exercise today. Yes, you are picking healthy food. Yes, you are taking time to look after your very, very most precious self. And then the other part of the equation to being a human being is the spirit. So we want to have a plan for each area, one for the body, physical, one for the mind, mental, and one for the spirit, which is the part of us that is indestructible. It is the part of us that has resilience, that has the ability to love, has the ability to heal. The mind and the spirit are very connected, and yet if the body's not well, the mind isn't well, and the spirit's almost trapped because it's all encased like a pyramid together. So what I would suggest to you is you get support for your body, the very, very basics, activity, strength training, relaxation training, learning how to breathe again can get you out of that whirling mind. We call it the monkey mind. And sometimes just doing something you used to do. I went with a friend yesterday. We sat on the swings in a park and we just swang like children for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. But I have news for you. That's a very freeing thing. And we all have a child within us that likes to play. So if there's something you really enjoyed doing when you were young, that when you were outside or doing something, I encourage you to do that again. That is part of your spiritual growth. And foods. Most of us are so inundated with what to eat, and we're eating synthetic food. And what people don't understand is what you eat becomes your brain tissue, becomes part of your lungs, becomes part of your bones, becomes part of your body. So it's really important that you could learn to become a food snob and eat foods that were designed before we had the food revolution, the Kellogg's brothers, the Nestle brothers, these big families that eventually took over our education system and then funded the education system and said, this is what you're telling these people to eat. And all you have to do is look around and see how many people are very sick, have obesity, have arthritis, have depression, have anxiety, all these different disorders, and a lot of them are directly linked to the food that we've been told that we're being told to eat. And my suggestion is that you go back to the basics, what farmers were eating. They were eating animals that were not fed grains. They were eating animals that got outside. Eggs, chicken eggs, cheese if you can, not a lot, but a bit. And if you're going to do grains, they need to be sprouted ahead of time. You want to eat essential fats, butter, preferably organic, coconut oil, whipping cream if you like on berries. Fruit is okay in moderation, but you want to eat food seasonally. You want to eat food as it comes up within our environment and it's ready. That's the time that your body actually needs it. Right now we're moving into fall and I'm starting to make bone broths, which is wonderful for a wonderful soup to nourish the body. So we want to get away from those packaged foods as much as possible. All you need to do is look at how prevalent disease is to know that packaged foods and these low fat and these thises and that's is terrible, not very helpful at all, and long term will cause deficits that then you'll go, why am I sick? I ended up with hypothyroid. I'm a very healthy person, but the thyroid is directly impacted by chemicals and toxins in our environment and radiation. Those things we can't control. but we can control our food choices. And I'm not saying that to upset you. I'm just saying that I've looked after my health diligently for a long time. I became very sick. And I'm incredibly grateful that I got help. And all I can say to you is, it doesn't matter where you are in your life, there is hope and there is help for you. I get emotional about it because I see some people give up, and I know people that have committed suicide because they didn't see a way out. And I'm just here to encourage you to know that you are not alone, and that there's people that care, and there's people that can help you. So our mental state does impact our behaviors and our quality of life. So think about this. If you tell yourself on a semi-regular basis that I am lovable and worthy of a good life, and you let yourself accept that, you'll create it. Our quality of life is a direct result of what we think we deserve and what we believe we deserve. We actually attract or repel what we think we deserve. And my experience is I've had some work to do on that. To allow good people into my life and to allow myself to be kind to myself. So think about what it is that you really want to create. Using simple words like I believe in you, I care for you, I'm here for you, can be very healing and mending, particularly if you came from a childhood where those words weren't given to you. Some of our healing journey is about reparenting that part of ourselves that may not feel good enough. We live in a society that encourages us to feel not good enough, not smart enough, not pretty enough. We live in a society that encourages us to have shame and guilt if we don't meet this ridiculous expectation. And none of us is perfect. None of us is capable of being all of those things. So it's important to honor your vulnerabilities. It's important to honor that part of you that needs to be nourished, and to surround yourself with things that support you feeling good about yourself, and messages that tell you that you are lovable and worthy of love, particularly if you're going through a hard time. What we say to ourselves becomes self-hypnosis. So I'm just going to suggest to you that in the morning, when you lay in bed or when you're getting out of bed, have a ritual, a self-care ritual, whether it's reading an inspirational, a couple of pages out of a book, whether it's journaling about what you feel grateful for, whether it's just taking a moment of self-appreciation. One author whom I really respect and admire, her name is Carolyn Mace, and she's a medical intuitive, and she talks about invisible acts of power. And in that book that I've been reading recently, it's all about helping other people, even with a prayer. And giving back, even if it's a prayer or a smile, to reconnect with people. We need each other, and yet we live in a society that isolates us, that we think that we're not enough. We go into electronic mode and we don't connect, and then we feel alone and lonely and we don't know how to reach out. So it's important to have a ritual that allows you to feel part of without losing yourself, part of without betraying yourself, part of giving back, but also making sure you fill up your own self-care pitcher, your own jug of water, and then during the day you give here, you give there. We slowly die when we forget how to look after ourselves, and we slowly die when we forget to love ourselves and allow ourselves to love others. So health is not just, some score sheet. It's how are you doing on the inside. If you look at your body, 0 to 10, 10's like everything's really good. Where are you? Mentally, 0 to 10, where are you? Spiritually, how do you feel in your heart? Where are you? Those are indicators about the quality of life that I'm asking you to rebuild if there's low spots, because everyone has them from time to time. So one thing I really, really want you to think about is every day you need to fill up that self-care picture with positive self-messages, with whether it's a 20 or 30-minute meditation, whether it's a bubble bath, whether it's a walk, whether it's going to the gym, whether it's getting your butt to a training session with your trainer. Most people that have a trainer actually do so much better than the people that wing it. Some people don't understand the value, and yet we are here to support people in living a higher quality of life. And you can't put a price tag on that. So seeing a trainer is an act of self-love. It's not narcissistic, it's an act of self-love. Sometimes we need to get ill or depressed or have an injury before we decide we're worth looking after. That's the sad fact. I see more people coming now in crisis than just because they want to maintain or have a healthy body. So I'm encouraging not to wait until you get cancer or you're clinically depressed or someone next to you has gone down before you say, geez, I better look after my body. You know, I've got 30 pounds I've got to lose. I just encourage you to carve out that time for yourself. Know that you are worth it. The list of things will still be there when you get back. And the beauty is you're modeling something to other people that you're worth looking after. And it's a little bit about, my teacher would say, being selfishly wise. Look after yourself first, and then you can help other people. You know, when you're on an airplane and they talk about, you know, if you have a child with you, you must put the oxygen mask on yourself before you put it on your child. Well, that goes true for self-care. You have to look after yourself before you can truly give to others as well. And it's a humbling experience to be unwell and then get your health back and realize how unhealthy or sick you really were, and then start to feel great. I'm starting to feel great, but I was very, very ill and had no idea. I went to the doctor. The doctor went, no, you're just getting old. I'm like, well, thanks for pointing that out. But the testing that they gave me was insufficient, and based on government cutbacks, was only testing for one marker out of 17 markers to see if my thyroid was deficient. And I was suffering. So I just encourage you not to wait until you're suffering and groveling and ready to be put on antidepressants. I encourage you to reach out. Ask yourself, 0 to 10, how are you physically? 0 to 10, how are you mentally? 0 to 10, how's your spirit? Do you feel alive? Do you feel love? Do you feel grateful? Those are all indicators that you're doing well. And if you're not doing well, then I encourage you to reach out to people who can support you, who can give you hope and structure, and who are actually living the way you want to live. That is the key. So I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for sharing this if you share this. And to better health, to higher quality of living, to rebuilding our quality of living through our body, our mind, and our spirit. Have a wonderful day. This is Germana Rovinelli, heartconsulting.ca. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.